My name is Brad Molnar, M-O-L-N-A-R. I represent Billings and parts of Billings and all of Laurel, Senate Bill 28, Senate District 28. I wish to discuss not the entire of what SJ2, but specifically the balanced budget part. In 1993, I was in the legislature and I voted for a COS, Convention of States, mandating a balanced federal budget. Jack Sands served before me, and he got it clear into the Senate. This is not new. Phyllis Schlafly of the Eagle Forum and Don Judge of the Montana FL sat side by side and testified against the wisdom of the people demanding a balanced budget being constitutionally mandated. They won, never got out of committee. The people lost. Our debt then was $4.4 billion. It has grown 700% since I entered the legislature. A dollar has lost 83% of its purchase power since 1983, due in no small part to federal borrowing driving inflation. The solution is now, as always, spending more deficit dollars on programs to help with inflation driven by deficit spending. This rote exercise is always politically celebrated as progress. Excess Social Security funds are on loan to the federal government to spend as they desire. For example, recently, to study gender issues in Pakistan. Our Social Security funds are returned to us as needed, with the excess spent to defray the deficit with a promise to repay. Considering the trillions of dollars spent by the Trump administration and the trillions of deficit dollars promised to be spent by the Biden administration, our ability to pay back the borrowed funds to those that earn them is in doubt, as our national debt now dwarfs our gross domestic product. Take everything everybody earned, and you cannot pay this debt off. In 2037, Social Security expenditures will exceed collections. The chosen option is to tell people to work longer and for our leaders to pay old debt with new debt acquisition from foreign countries and drug cartels purchasing our notes to the Cayman Islands. The People's Daily in China, I'm probably the only person here that reads that, asks, if democracy is such a good idea, why must the United States borrow from China to fund their government? If you don't have an answer, then vote for SJ2. If we continue to fund everything from critical needs to nonsense with deficit dollars, the only question is, what will the collapse look like? The Chinese yuan is now discussed internationally as becoming the median currency for the exchange and international commerce, replacing the dollar due to our debt. That makes China primacy. What will an American economic collapse look like? Senator Hauer alluded to this. I was there. I was there under a scholarship to study the decline of the Greek economy based on energy policy. Greece, a modern nation, relied on political sound bites instead of sound fiscal policy for decades. It added a carbon tax that reduced exports. The carbon tax dried up discretionary spending. Government revenue shrank, so taxes were increased. In desperation, the retirement funds were cut, but spending was not. The people of Greece rioted shortly after I left as the cost of living, high taxes, unemployment, and reduction in social programs increased. The people threw Molotov cocktails into the banks and bludgeoned the firemen that showed up to fight the flames. This from mindless spending in excess of revenue intake and supporting policies that shrank the economy and promotion of dependence on federal largesse. What would the American economic collapse look like? It would look like January 6, 2021, just like all other economic collapses. We are not immune. Support SJ2 as the first step in the 12-step program to bring fiscal sanity to our bipartisan spendaholics.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks are willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.